Bang, bang.
What's good?
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Bodycast. My name is Copacetic. With me today, the esteemed
Young Crumpet, baby.
Bang Bang Young Crumpet in the house. If you don't know, pretend like you do.
Mm-hmm.
This is, of course, what everyone is calling the best podcast for the international culture of battle rap. You can find us on Reddit, Twitter, or X, Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and all available podcast platforms in the links below. It's the only place for fans to go for battle rap news from around the globe. And somebody said to me recently, they were just like, they stopped me in the street and they're like, "Hey, you're copacetic." I was like, "Yeah, I am." They're like, I love your show is so good, and it's the only show that does extensive, in-depth, quality coverage of battle rap culture, from every corner of the planet, with
Mm-hmm.
hosts who are both experienced and highly regarded battlers, and also extremely, extremely good looking. It's all true. It's all true. Oh shit, Dojo. What's up, Dojo? He knows what's up.
What's good,
For
Joe?
real. Experienced people in the chat. This is what it's about. We're gonna do a UKBR show today, so I had to get the legend himself out and out of his beautiful mansion. God damn. Do you play the piano?
Mm-hmm. Proper like grade A and all that.
Oh yeah, man. Man's doing the fucking Chopin, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's a great show that we have for you today. It's really actually going to be an amazing show. I'm really excited. Did a
Yeah.
lot of homework on this one. Made sure that we know what we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and really we do that because being the high quality hosts that we are, we need to put on a good show for the high quality viewers who watch the show, because not everybody watches the show, but a lot of people do, and those people are all just top tier fans of battle
The
rap,
real ones.
right? The realist. They care about the culture from around the globe. They care about the scene and what battle rap means to humanity, not just your little corner, but the whole thing, the whole shebang. And we're gonna get into it today. We're gonna do a little bit of coverage of the U.S. stuff that happened this weekend, which is fantastic, and we're gonna do a bunch of stuff on UK battle rap, because God knows there's a whole lot of shit going down. So before we go any further, if you really wanted to take this whole podcasting experience, it's going to be the best time of your day, easily, maybe your life. I don't know, but let's just say that if you were looking for the coolest of peers, bang bang, the coolest of peer. Raise your glass. Join us now for the community cheers. Mm. Cheers. Woo. It's beautiful. I love the cheers.
Mm-hmm.
It brings us together. Everybody around the world doing the cheers. It's like it's a unity thing. It's very special.
Yeah.
It's great
I
to
love
cheers
it.
with you, my G. Really good to see you. For people who don't know, it's just terrible if you don't know. You must have stumbled across this channel because obviously anybody who's really paying close attention knows Young Crumpet has been a absolute staple in UK battle rap and in I think battle rap culture. You're on the forums and stuff like that. You're
Yeah.
you're on Twitter. You're doing recaps, but also in the ring, I feel like people have a great respect for your pen and your history, and the fucking shit that you come up with is like, I think you're one of the craziest writers. I love listening to your shit. Every time I see a new battle from you, I feel like, oh, I've gotta fucking click this. 100%.
Yeah.
It's non-negotiable. So yeah, so just flowers for Crumpet, flowers in the chat if you're watching right now. Young Crumpet,
Yeah.
you know,
Appreciate it, man.
puts on for
Yeah.
UKBR.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. For held on team with updates and recaps and battles for the best part of like 10 years. So
Right, forever, super established. What is
yeah.
the Twitter handle, the X handle that you
Uh,
drop updates?
So the one I do updates on is UKBR at UKBRG updates. So Yeah, it's at UKBRG updates, all one word. And then, yeah, so we do updates for every event. Me and Crow, the battler who run it.
Oh, no way.
Um, yeah, like he, if there's events that he can make, but I can't, he'll do like recaps on it. So big
Amazing.
up Crow every time.
Yeah, shouts out to Crow, friend of the show,
Mm.
friend of the channel. And what does the G stand for? UKBRG.
So it stands for it came
Gangster.
from the that's it. It came from because I used to do all my updates on the UK Battlerap group, which rest in peace Excel. It's the Facebook forum that he ran, and so it was always associated with that. And then I just came on with that. The logo that I use for the updates is
Right.
one that was created for the group back in the day, and so it's just to put on for that.
Mad
So yeah.
history. RIP
Yeah,
Excel, for real.
rest in peace, Excel. That's the real one.
Facts. So, we're going to get started today, and we got to cover the news that's
Mm-hmm.
happened because last night was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, ARPs, RBEs, Max Out 3, it's an enormous event. I think there was like, it's a big year for battle rap in the States. Obviously, there's a ton of shit happening. When you
Yeah.
think about GTX having that throwback event, 2 days of like your favorite Gran Turismo X grind time, favorites, and bringing so many people out of retirement and having these classic matches, and then Summer Madness and Disaster, showing up versus Real Sick and Rum Nitty jumping on with Ace that last minute to really round out that card, and now Maxed Out 3. And like when you're looking at these cards, honestly, it's like when this story unfolds to you, doesn't it feel like there's a real competition level? Like it's really like, damn, I don't know which was the best event. A lot of people on Twitter are saying that Max Out 3 is the best event. And maybe that's recency bias, but maybe that's just the fucking Blue Room is crazy. And the performances last night were all pretty much insane. I know that me or Path were talking about Max Out 3. We were like, oh yeah, the guys who are not from St. Louis are gonna fucking smoke the guys from St. Louis. But that did not happen. Yeah, Dojo's right. We got the ride today. It's fucking crazy. So let's start there. Like, RBE's doing Max Out 3, and I think one of the big narratives coming in was people being surprised that it's $75. And Disaster's been sort of bumping heads with ARP, which is crazy because you don't see that very often.
No.
For ARP, it's just such a smooth and
he's definitely one of the more passive bar opponents.
Right, he doesn't really get into conflict with anyone, and when he does, he like smokes them in a blog, or he just like it's very one-sided in the ring, like a Mobius strip. So like, the narratives coming into this were, damn, Disaster jumped on you to smack the URL Summer Madness shit and definitely boosted the profile of Summer Madness, which was like Summer Madness from the fans' perspective before him and Rum jumped on, and now this huge event from RBE, it's like, wow, it's a huge price tag that comes with it. And I think a lot of people feel like they got value for that.
Yeah, like I saw a lot of complaints about it being like $70. So, and that is quite a lot. But when you actually see the quality of battles that came out, we got him and Young Girl, A Ward, Calico Goods. There's been a lot to come out from that. It's been really good.
Like good, high quality back and forth battles. There's no fucking drubbings. Nobody got nobody got super smoked. I don't think. I think Head Ice versus Show Off might have been a little one sided, but I don't know.
Yeah, but that's one of those when you have like 15 battles on the card or so, and then one's a bit
It's a very successful event. Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
you still got a lot of amazing battles on the card there.
And then the secret battle, which was like, when you hear a secret battle, I'm thinking Yannick versus who,
Yeah.
and it was fucking B Magic versus Arsenal. This
Yeah.
is like an all-timer battle.
Yeah, that's a personal battle on my wish list of all time.
100%.
B Magic's probably my favorite battle of all time, and Arsenal is fucking great. He's in amazing form now as well.
Yeah, absolute legend status.
Yeah, I mean he's been really killing over the past year or so. So just to see him in this form, considering he's been going on since Lion's Den.
Yeah, I mean, two names in the culture that it's wild that they haven't battled. I mean, like, is there and I don't know about it? You would be the person to ask.
Nah, I don't think they have. Like, it is one of the matches, so it's like, what matches are left for B Magic? What matches are left for Arsenal? And because they've battled pretty much everyone, and now they're battling each other.
And from everything we're seeing and hearing, absolute classic.
Yeah, I mean, B Magic has obviously had like a couple of issues over the past couple of years, so with consistency, and I do think that kind of like hampered his spot on Mount Rushmore a bit. But he's really seemed so over the past couple of years. So since maybe I want to say the Danny Myers battle, he kind of like leveled to Danny Myers. He battled on, I think it was Power and Respect or something like that. And he had a really good showing versus him. This is a couple of years ago, and since then he's really full on like leveled us out a bit.
In this year alone, Nestle, what have I got here? Coach Corleone on RBE, Pass on GTX, Fate, and then he did the Low Pesci battle.
He battled Low Pesci, he battled Casino.
And now Arsenal. And no chokes. It's like, yo, this is a really amazing, legendary level battle rapper who is pulling out all the stops and giving the fans what they want. And it's just like the most heartwarming thing. You see, Gannick, Disaster, everybody who is in the culture, everybody who knows it's just fucking, heartwarming. That's just, there's no other word for it. It's just like the greatest thing is to be able to see B Magic and see 3 clean rounds from him where he's got quotables, where he's shaking the room. Like, this guy is the puncher's puncher. And I can totally see why he's a big influence on you. Very similar style, I think. It's just like, here's some elite level wordplay where I'm going to make you think about shit that you've never thought about before. It's really universal and for everyone,
Yeah.
Although he did have the fucking the current event bar with the Diz, ending the round thing with Summer Madness. That was a great bar. Shook the room.
Yeah. It's great. But it happens. You'll get a lot of current event bars. It's not usually the best, but they're always bound to make the crowd good pop off. It's always a cheap pop off.
It's true.
Well,
it's cheat code. Cheat code. So that's great. Goods versus Calico. It's like, oh my God, we got the cow that we wanted and maybe the best goods too. Like, these guys are sort of, I think they are always going to have great performances, but you have a tough time getting the real writers, the real lyricists to jump on board with, like, what was it, Cal versus Easy? He was saying some fucking wild shit. And you're like, can you just fucking rap? Can you just fucking do the fucking battle rap thing? Because like, he was saying like, free R. Kelly, and he was just being extremely extra. But
Cal's been on amazing form recently as well. He's one of those he's obviously had a couple RB battles recently. Him and Hollow one and all that. But he recently he was on Gnome and SM, and he killed it. So
Yeah, so great to see him. Great to see Goods back, and like just Clash of the Titans, just 2 big heavyweights in battle rap culture for a long time, giving us a classic. We can't do anything but show respect to RBE for making that
Yeah.
happen. Because it really feels like the Blue Room brings out the best in these guys. Like it's just
Yeah.
we're not seeing a weak effort. There's sort of like a complacency. Sometimes you get guys on URL and it's sort of like, well, I'm fucking URL regular and I'll be back next year if I don't do so good or whatever it is. You don't have that. You're having fucking really high quality battle rap matches.
Yeah, this Blue has definitely been one of the most recent phenomena in there, and I think it's really taken over and kind of reevaluated how people think of these small rematches.
Yes. Daylight. It's funny. Daylight was fucking all over this because there was so much attention on it. He was just like, I told ARP to do the Blue Room. I told him to do this, and maybe next year you'll see me.
That's Daylight for you, but yeah, it's really good to see. Like this kind of revitalization of the format.
Yeah, I love the small room shit. Make a room explode. It's
yeah, exactly.
Totally different from the big stage for sure.
Yeah, and it really brings out the performance in it. Like it really caters to the crowd. Like the punches like Be Magic, they wouldn't be able to get that reaction on the big stage probably. While it kind of like accentuates that in that small room.
Exactly. And then you think about stuff like Disaster's third versus Real Sick. When you have a huge crowd, maybe people aren't hearing it correctly or they're misinterpreting stuff, and then they go off in a way that disrupts the whole battle. Whereas, I'm just fucking spitballing here, but if that was inside a small room, maybe people give Diz a little bit more time to tell his story, which is what it was.
Yeah.
The small room shit is amazing, and another great battle. They're all fucking doing really well, but I think a lot of people wanted to see what was going to happen with A Ward and Verb, and we had predicted obviously that A Ward was going to mop them up, and that's not what happened. Much to my delight, that is not at all what happened. So highlights some really big moments, but a fucking war. And we're seeing the Averb that did that little one rounder versus Hollow, where he's punching and he's like engaged and he's giving it his best. And like, you cannot ask for more than that. You can't. That's what you want. You don't want him to phone it in and lose to A Ward on some fucking complacency shit.
Yeah, so, this is the Averb that we all kind of grew up on.
Exactly.
And that we all love watching. It's a shame he took a bit of a dip over a couple of years, but if this is like, and it's hard to judge off one performance, obviously, and obviously the Hollow one, but that was only one rounder. But true. If he's back, it'll be really good to see. Like,
what is the X factor here? Is it like the fact that there are multiple leagues, so there's more drama, there's more controversy, there's more opportunity to what is it about RBE? If RBE becomes the number one, are people going to get complacent with the Blue Room, or is it the fact that anybody who's had any issues with Smack can go to RBE and be like, this is how good I am?
Yeah.
There's I don't know what the factor is, but it feels like more competition is good.
Yeah, I think over the last 10 years, so it's almost like UL's kind of had a monopoly on American Battlerap, and now it seems like we have capacity. Obviously, there was KOTD, but KOTD is in Canada and has a completely separate market.
It feels like America. Toronto's right there. It feels kind of like America.
It's only a border away, but
it's really not far.
Yeah, I know, but in kind of like UL's kind of like had that hold on the USA, and to just have that competition and people can actually go to like an alternate place,
Especially when however many years ago it was now, it feels like forever, Drake gives them $82 million.
2015.
Right? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about like when he went on stage in for Hollow Clips. No, it was 2021.
my guy. I would
The
never
yeah,
question you.
yeah, the Lux Geechee.
You know, and oh, he's disappeared.
Sorry, yeah, wait for a second.
And he's a magician. You know, you got to keep your eye on Crumpet, man. It's
That's it.
just you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It really felt like at that point, phone it in or
Mhm.
pack it up, game over. They got all the money now. They've got
Yeah.
all the influence. They're on top. And it seems like the exact opposite has happened, right? We talk about this all the time. Chrome 23, Easy
Yeah.
starts his league, GTX blows up, iBattle's doing really well. Like everybody who is supposed to be in competition with them has grown their own base and built their own rosters and really built their brand to the point where it's fucking free for all. I mean, who was saying it was Big K was saying, you know, at this point RBE is the number one league. And there's a lot of argument for that. And
Yeah.
that like wasn't the case even 2 years ago.
Yeah. And that now you have Chrome putting on Easy Geechee, which a couple of years ago would have been exclusive to URL.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's like not great for the URL.
Yeah.
Like if I were running the URL, I'd be like, oh, this sucks because we got a bunch of money, and all of a sudden, fucking everybody else is doing well. But it's so good for battle rap culture.
Yeah, and if it's one of those things that'll pay off long term for URL. No, they actually have competition. You know, they're kind of like for the last 10 years they could have been coasting for, you know, and become a bit complacent. Now they have these people to actually compete against, and where, you know, if you all fuck up, people can actually just go to RB and Chrome, and they have this advantage of like all these YouTube drops, which I know yours kind of done a couple over the last week or so, but it's not a regular thing. This is kind of like your opportunity to actually say, okay, time to step it up again.
Yeah, huge. That you would throw a Summer Madness, and it wouldn't be the biggest event of the year. Like
Biggest event in a month.
fast. Oh shit, they've got to punch back. They got to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. So like, okay, let's get into it. Big K as well versus Young Ill.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Young Ill did well. Like, Young Ill
Yeah.
did not get smoked, which is great. It's great for the card. It's great for the atmosphere. It's great for
Yeah.
everyone. But you're seeing the clips of Big K and his writing and his performance and his comfort in the ring. It's just absolutely, what are we saying? It's champion of the year shit.
Yep.
And it's what he's been doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's definitely got a shot. I mean, beating Mook.
And like beating Mook is, you know, hindsight is very flawed, obviously, because people can say, "Oh,
Yeah.
you beat Mook," but beating Mook is like somehow magically very difficult.
Yeah.
And he did it. He did it very easily. And then what T-Rex on GTX?
GTX. Yep. And he probably clearly beat that as well.
Crazy battle, super great battle. And yeah, he's just having an amazing run right now, but also it feels like the same Big K we've been seeing. You know, it's sort of like almost to be champion of the year, you have to be doing it for a number of years. It's not just this year. It's just like his style and his work ethic built him up to the point where he's headlining cards, he's being fed these huge matches, and he's killing them.
I mean, it's not like this is a kind of like odd year for him. He's been killing over the past 10 years since he battled Ilmac.
I remember, who did he battle on the fucking RB? No, not the RBE, the D-Rex card on Rap Grid.
RBN or something like that. And I think about Real Deal. I think I remember what you're talking about, where he battled Real Deal on like the RBN Barfast. That was the Daylight Math one, wasn't it?
It's a long time ago. I was really testing you now.
It's 2012, 2013, but and like Math battled Daylight or something like that.
Yes, that's it.
And so he battled Real Deal and he like choked the whole round, something like that.
You are an absolute. Your mind is a safe, is a thing that there's nothing gets through it. Yeah, very impressive. So Big K has been the GOAT for a long time, but now he's seriously um, champion of the year. There is a discussion, but it's not a honest discussion. I think
Hmm.
most people have him as champion of the year
Yeah.
cleanly this year, which
Yeah.
is really hard to do.
Yeah, it's real, and it's really good to see. Like he's getting his flowers. As I said, he's like been killing over the last 10 years, but I think this is going to be the year where he actually gets the flowers he deserves.
The shit he's saying too is fucking incredible, and on a level where like this works in the room, and is like a haymaker in the room and gets the reaction in the room, but when you read it back, it's poetry. Like it's
Hmm.
just
And when you like,
extremely well crafted.
and when you see it on paper, kind of like appreciate the rhymes, the internal rhymes, and all the multis, how it just weaves together. It's absolutely perfect.
Really, really high quality, extremely top tier. So yeah, so if you want to see Big K battles, just fucking go watch all the Big K battles because it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Consistency as well. What else we got? What's the main event? Ill Will
Hitman.
versus Hitman.
Yep.
People are talking about how well Hitman did, which is great because Hitman's another sort of like big name from that era where you're wondering how much of this is your talent and how much of it is gas. Um,
Yeah.
he's a great performer, definitely one of the greatest performers in battle rap history. But getting that seal of approval from uh, writers and lyricists and people who are really paying attention to what you're saying, that's hard to do. And
Yeah.
apparently, just a war is debatable.
Yeah. I
So
mean, Ill Will's top of his game at the moment. He's been RB's top gun over the past few years. He's been really killing him, and so to see Hitman, who it's really good to see that Hitman's like mainstream now. He's been on Wild 'N Out. He's obviously running Bags and Bodies. He's got like a lot of clothing deals and all that. To see him still show love to battle rap, where he obviously made that name, it's to still put in consistent performances. It's really good to
facts.
see.
Yeah, facts. It's amazing. So we don't want to go too much into this. Like
Yeah.
it's just fantastic, fantastic work. Salute ARP and everybody RBE staff for really pushing the culture forward because it's tremendous, tremendous work. Um, yeah, he's looking good. He's looking sharp.
Yeah.
I got a little accent too. I don't know what's happening there, but
Yeah, Baz.
shouts out to shouts out to G Show. Go check out his battle versus Arcane.
Yeah, G Show's a fucking killer.
For real.
Yeah.
Glock party all day. Let's get into it. We're going to take a plane all the way across the Atlantic to the United Kingdom and Ireland. And we're going to talk about the UK. I want to briefly get into because we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
But I want to briefly touch on. No, fuck that. We'll just get into it. You were there last night.
Yeah.
Premier Battles, Undisclosed. Stroh's big card. The Undisclosed series has been amazing.
Yeah.
The vibe that he's cultivated with those cards, building up to this event, where this is sort of like the Undisclosed was like the fun cards, and now Undisclosed 10 is like, oh, this is legitimately amazing.
Yeah.
We had him on to talk about it. Go check out Bodycast episode. And this is like Soulcon versus O'Shea. Like these are top tier names. You got Harry Baker back out of versus Sythe, and a fucking just an add-on Marlowe versus Quill versus the Don't Flop champion. Absolutely insane looking card, and by all accounts, just totally lived up to the hype.
Yeah, it was a really good event. Like, I brought friends along, and this was like the first battles they'd ever seen, and they really loved it. So there we go. But yeah, it was an amazing event. Like, it was like, I don't think there's a single battle that kind of like didn't live up to the hype. So yeah, and it's on Patreon now if you want to go view it. But obviously all the battles will be up on YouTube over time.
And we'll put a link in the description there if you want to check it out. We'll put a link to that and the RBE VOD, which I think is on Ruin Your Day. So shouts out to
Yeah.
them. So yeah, so there was a bit of a I don't want to say controversy. There's not a controversy, but
it's
like
not.
Frankie got COVID and it wasn't able to do the 2-on-2s.
Yeah.
And man, that would have just been the icing on the cake.
Bro, like I was talking with Rose yesterday, who you may remember from back in the day. Obviously, he's really close to Frankie, and he was telling me all about Frankie's material, how Frankie was actually going to take a comedic approach to it, which is something we've never seen before. And then you got Frost, who's a comedic guy, and then you got Grass and Elstein, who are, I don't know if you've seen any of the 2-on-2s, but they're absolutely amazing.
Sure. Very funny guys. Yeah, and Frankie had that bit versus Scoop. Where what went you from? That shit was amazing.
Yeah.
So they have the comedy chops. Just really too bad that didn't go down. Hopefully it gets rescheduled or stuff like that.
It will. Like I think the thing with that is because it's they obviously don't want to kind of like recycle the material, but it's all about kind of like if it's a battle that's kind of like catered more towards comedy style, it's kind of like finding the event to put it on. Like you can't really put it on an event like the Plug where it's going to be more bars heavy. So it's really kind of like more vibe. I think they're definitely looking at doing more liftable events. I think yesterday was kind of like a litmus test to see how it would work. And and obviously you got Kingsley as like a liftable battle who will kind of like want to be looking to maybe expand a bit there. But yeah, so we may see it on a card, potentially a Liverpool card in the future.
What did you catch most of the undercard battles, or was that?
Yeah, I caught pretty much every battle.
Okay, great. So, yeah. What was the sort of standout from the undercard before we get into these main events?
I think so. It's out of the ones that went down. So probably Kingsley Thunder versus Leicester.
Amazing.
Like this was obviously Kingsley had a lot to prove. He had a not. I don't know if you've seen him versus Frost yet, but it wasn't him.
Right. I heard.
Yeah, so that was his last battle, and he was stumbling a lot. And Frost wasn't his best. It really wasn't like this a D1 battle and these are supposed to be like the best guys, and it really wasn't that. So you got Kingsley looking to make like that comeback performance in his home city as well. So there's that kind of like added pressure. And versus Leicester, who he's Lester's absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen him, just go watch him. He's one of the funniest guys in the UK at the moment. And he's also incredibly consistent, with his performances. So he's always going to have like a good performance. So it was always going to be that.
Yeah, Kingsley had to find some way to compete with Leicester's got a lot of charisma and feels like he's very calm in the ring. He does the roasting really well.
Yeah,
I think that's probably his bread and butter. And for Kingsley, it's sort of like he's more competitive, right? He came up through Academy. Didn't he win the Academy?
Yep.
Yeah, so his shit is a lot more battle rap. So hype for that, excited for that.
Yeah.
I want to say like I gotta take an L here. I'm gonna take the rare L. That happens. But I can admit it. I can admit when I'm wrong. I thought that the fucking teams shit was gonna be through the roof. I thought that was absolutely going to be. I thought that was going to be the most exciting and entertaining thing in battle rap, period. And because I'm just a huge fan of the team shit. I've told Briggsy, I've told all these guys before. That's the thing that I love most. And I fucking don't even know who's winning right now.
It's I think with that you got so many different factors that you kind of have to, there's but there's 10 teams with 5 battles in each, so you're managing 50 battlers, which is never going to be the best. You're sorting out you're sorting out matches for all that. You're trying to pick out the best matches. but you've also got to assume that every battler will show up at their best, will show up in the first place, you know. So yeah, it's a really hard juggling act, and you know, shout out to Brixie and shout out to Blush over there because they've absolutely killed it with it. But it was never going to go 100% smoothly. But you know,
Yeah, well,
I
I mean,
think,
the last time it was so successful that
yeah,
motherfuckers were fighting, like at the events, like that's how intense it was.
yeah,
And now it seems a lot more like, you know, oh well, what's the card you're on? Not like what's your team doing, but like, are you on this huge event coming up, or who's your opponent? Which is sort of
yeah,
like the way that battle rap has always been. So
yeah,
yeah, so like I mean, it's not like they're not having success. I felt like the team stuff would be more in the forefront, and you know, I guess maybe like you're saying, the mitigating factors are the undisclosed series having so much success,
mm,
and Stroke is killing it with that, as well as Trubs, you know, blowing up the plug events that
yeah,
are just so much fun to be at. Um, it's like it sort of takes a back seat. Obviously, Madrid Bomb is still the best team.
yeah,
Um,
of course.
but I don't have. You agree? You're
Oh
a man
yeah,
of taste.
I'm a Manchel fan.
Let's go. Um, but yeah. So then let's get into the fucking main events here.
Yeah, of course.
People are talking a lot about Quill versus Marlowe. That Marlowe was a
Yeah.
lot more serious this time.
Yeah, I mean, Marlowe's always had that kind of like analytical style to him, but he's always kind of like balanced it out with comedy. He's never really kind of like gone full 100% in that surgical style. It's always been kind of balanced. And when you have it against someone who's against Quill, who's one of the best punchers in the UK, he's an incredibly dangerous opponent to battle.
Yeah,
And
one of the best performers too. Like
and then you kind of add the factor that this was actually for in this battle counter towards division. They basically kicked Shuffle out of Knights and was like, okay, Marlo, do you want to?
oh, was that the video thing that they did, the promo
Yeah,
thing?
the thing with Gem. So that was an announcement basically saying, okay, Marlo versus Quill. It's Knights versus Mandrill. We're kicking Shuffle out of Knights, and we're basically putting Marlo in, subbing Marlo in for that. So yeah, and then so you kind of got to factor in that this had to be a competitive battle. That Quill's one of the best. Marlo had to if Marlo wanted to take those 3 points home, he had to be 100%.
Yeah,
And
these
he
are
was.
champions. Like
Mm-hmm.
these are people who've won championships,
Yeah.
titles and shit like that. So yeah, definitely super strong. And then fuck, like you know, how do you compete with that? Is you've got Harry Baker is back. He
Harry Baker's
returns
back.
versus Shuffle T, who's obviously one of the best in the UK and has been for a long time.
Yeah.
And what did we get from that?
It was a really good battle. Like it was very back and forth. You know, Harry Baker was definitely on form. Shuffle was maybe the best he's been in a while. I did have Shuffle with the Gentleman's 30, but that's a close. There was nothing taken away from Harry. He was absolutely incredible. I think you've also got back that this isn't the first time this battle has been scheduled. So these guys have been right with each other. It was scheduled just before COVID. They were supposed to do For Pete's Sake too.
Okay,
so
that's cool.
For Pete's Sake, the event that Soul and Quill about Shuffle and Marlowe, they were supposed to do a sequel to that with like High Baker Shuffle T, Tony D versus Gemini. So yeah, a couple of other big battles there, and then this has been in the making for a while, and it really paid off. You know, it was obviously it was the right place to do it, where they'd appreciate kind of like the writing, you know. But yeah, it turned out to be really well. I would probably recommend getting the Patreon to have a look at that.
Amazing. Yeah, just great writers, people who understand what's going to hit in the crowd, why it's funny. You know, there's no ambiguity there. There's no dead space. Really excited to see that.
And you don't have to be like a full fan to understand it, because they just lead up to the angle so well. And that's part of what makes him a great writer. There doesn't have to be any context.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, bringing your new fans in and then being like, you know, not having to decipher the lingo or the history.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. So the main event was just, you know, I mean, I think it's a lot of people's who really fuck with battle rap, and
Yeah.
in that style, like almost GTX don't flop kind
Yeah.
of style of like these guys are really fun.
Yeah.
Sohan versus Oshea.
Like, yeah, this is definitely one of those battles. Like, it appeals to kind of like fans, however long you've been. Like, obviously, the styles kind of feels modern advanced. But obviously, Soul Khan was grind time. I know she was that early don't flop, you know, and it's obviously a very, you know, really fun battle to have, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It, yeah, it's shame how it ended. It's, I don't, it's no one's fault, really. Like, you know,
but did
O'Shea
they run
did.
it back? I heard they ran it
Yeah,
back.
yeah. So when they kind of took a break, O'Shea did come back and expired stuff. So that isn't currently on the Patreon, and that's because, like Raw, it will have that split. I've no
Right.
doubt they're looking at it for editing right now just to see what can be done.
Great, great. Because really, you know, like we were talking about that last episode,
Yeah.
where you have people in the building who are going to experience something different than people on YouTube, and the
Mm,
majority of fans are going to see it on YouTube when it's edited and put together. And that's something that, you know, the fans want to see. Is they want to see Soul Khan versus O'Shea, and like
yeah.
I can't even imagine how funny that is going to be and how good that battle is going to be.
Yeah, like from what I saw in the building, from like the 3 rounds that happened in the building, it was amazing. Like Solcon was the best words. Maybe on the same form it was versus A Ward, so this is a really good Solcon you're getting. And then O'Shea, it's just O'Shea, you know,
Oh,
he's incredible.
yeah, he's top three for me. Maybe top three, maybe not two, maybe not three. Um,
Yeah, he's
just
amazing.
overall, just fantastic event. Shouts out to Bloodstro.
Yeah,
Just earned it. Just worked hard and built these events and built this vibe and atmosphere where
yeah,
he's had a really huge card and just went really well.
yeah. It's really good to see, you know, he's been absolutely killing it. It's been really good both since COVID. So fair play to him.
We're going to move on a little bit
Okay.
because I want to talk about No Loose Chat. No Loose
Yeah,
Chat is been dropping a bunch of great battles. I haven't seen Whispers versus RX Southside yet,
yeah.
but I'm a huge Whispers fan. Holy shit, he's fucking crazy talented.
Yeah, he brings a real authenticity that not many can bring.
My
He's incredible.
God, yeah. So I want to see that, but I did watch Tech versus MK.
Mhm.
And it feels like Tech has like come into his own too. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of people talking about it. And then
Yeah,
you watch these battles and you get it. He's a big guy and he has big performance. And now he's like moving the crowd with that
yeah,
performance. And that's really dangerous. I saw him versus Villain as well.
yeah.
What league is that on?
Prem.
Okay, him versus Villain was on Prem, and was that part of?
Yeah, it was part of Division Two.
Oh, okay,
So yeah, Tech
that's
was
wild.
on. Yeah, Tech was on Riot. Villain was on Imperium. I don't want to obviously dwell onto Phil's performance too much because it's best to leave that alone. But Tech was absolutely incredible in that, and that's not like an outlier. He's been consistently incredible for like the past year or so.
The thing about Villain too is, and you know, obviously we're talking about this in the spaces, Quill's been doing
Yeah.
spaces. Um, the shit he's saying is still good.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he's you can tell like it's not what do you say textile and cuffing my cloth. And I don't even
Yeah.
fucking really like name flips, but he was doing like a bunch of really good shit. He just didn't know it.
Yeah, not naturally. Like he's a very natural writer, and it really shows. It's just a shame that like his performance lets is writing down.
So he's got Amity, is that right? I think Amity on DFAFD.
Uh, I'll just double check it. I think that's
Oh
correct. Yeah.
shit! Do I know something that Crumpet doesn't know?
Yeah. I saw the card ages ago.
I don't know if they
You in
changed
this
it
one?
since then because I think it was supposed to be Sam Hypes versus Amity,
Yeah.
and then Trump fucking vetoed that shit. He was just like,
So
"How?"
I'm looking now. It's Villain Amity. It's Villain vs Amity.
Yeah,
Oh, I've I thought you were saying Tech Amity. It's it's Villain vs Amity, which it's I think Amity's returned to Dunlop after a while, but obviously Villain's in a while as well. It's a bit weird because this is the first battle Villain's had after that whole kind of like oyster drama.
There's a whole lot of drama going on there. Obviously, Amity as well is from his league, the Trenches.
And the whole coffee shop.
Exactly. Villain is going through this thing where everybody's, he's such a large fan base and people love him and they just want to see him succeed. So, sort of like a thing. So that's one to keep an eye on. But Tech just absolutely, what did he say? He said a bunch of shit, absolute room shakers. But there's one line, I don't believe prophets unless they come from deep pockets. He was just in his bag, just coming with like all types of fucking great lines and then delivering them with a lot of power. And, when you're tall and big and you have a great performance and you can tower over your opponent, that is a factor in battle.
Yeah. Like there was a point maybe about a year ago where he wasn't good, where he was saying kind of like where he was battling in big rooms, but his voice wasn't carrying along well. So to see him kind of like work on that and to actually focus on that and make it a lot better, it's really good to see. He's been slowly improving over the last year, so it's been incredible to watch.
Shouts to Tech, great shit, and we watch your career with great interest. We await what's next, because I expect, based on these performances, more big plates and pushing him into the limelight, which is great. Shouts out to No Loose Chat as well. Fuck my shit. Shouts out to No Loose Chat. They're doing great shit. They just dropped Georgia Roots versus Tally, little one rounder. Literally an hour, 2 hours ago. So that's really cool and really worth watching. Both those guys. I thought this was a really great round from Tally. He's really talented. I think that, because he's spending a lot of his energy running No Loose Chat, he doesn't get into the ring as much, but he's definitely one of the best in the UK. I really think he's up there. And then Georgie, doing what Georgie does. It's wild how Georgie's, seemingly come out of nowhere. And then he has these big matches, after his battle with Frost, he's battling like Tony D and he's battling whoever and really establishing himself as a force.
I think it's since he had that battle with Bobby Rex where they had an incredible back and forth with an on-form Bobby Rex. It's kind of like people have started really taking him seriously, and it's really good to see. In the Anarchy.
Yeah, fucking amazing. So shouts out to those guys. Go check them out. No Loose Chat on YouTube, on Twitter, all that good shit. And then, because this is going to be the theme for today. I mentioned it 50 minutes into the episode, but the theme for today is a resurgence. We're talking about B Magic coming back. We're talking about how battle rap in America is not centralized in the URL. And we're talking about battle rap in the UK. Now, there was a heyday with Don't Flop. There was a period of time where it was really, really big. And people have been obviously always comparing the bounce back, if you will, to the heyday. And it's like impossible to compare because of the time. Everything felt different.
So many different factors.
Right. And now we're at a point now where like, okay, No Loose Chat is doing great things, building talent. Prem, has Stro throwing events, has got Trubs doing events in London. They're really building their brand, bringing Americans over, trying to capture that market. And I really love what Don't Flop is doing with expanding the fan base, because this goes underappreciated. But, when you're talking about Prem and No Loose Chat, it's like, okay, we are going to take battle rap fans and bring them into what we're doing. And what is doing, and I talked to him about this when I went out there, is I talked to him about it when he went out there, and he's like, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. Which is sort of the thing to do. But he's doing, on beat battles. He's got 2 events coming up, Overflow 2 and
Yeah.
More Heads is the new arm of the drum and bass battles for Don't Flop. And it's like these are battlers you've never heard of. This is not going to bring in the battle rap audience. This is going to bring in an entirely different audience into battle rap. And that's like so valuable when you're talking about growing the culture, because you can, if you're aiming for battle rap fans, you can only grow so far. But if you're extending beyond what the culture expects, you're gonna bring a bunch of people into what you're doing and what's so great about battle rap in the UK. So I just want to say, like, great shit. The drum and bass battles, Overflow 2, and even the comedy battles, roast beef stuff.
Yeah, it's really tapping into a lot of markets that a lot of the UK. I mean, there was Words of Weapon obviously back in the day, but right now there's not really anything that taps into that. And then Urge just comes along and says, "Hey, we're going to drop," and he's been doing like beatbox battles at April Fools. He's been doing a couple of drum and bass stuff like that, and obviously different concepts and that. It's really good to see.
It's experimental, it's fun, and it feels like, maybe when he was running Don't Flop back in the day, and this is the vibe I got from him, just talking to him briefly, is there's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations for him to build his league in a certain way, and all of those are gone now. Like people are they're fuck people. He's putting his wants first. He's doing what he wants to do, what he thinks is going to be fun. The one rounder, like, you got a bunch of pushback for the one rounder event. Oh, what are you doing? A fucking bunch of one rounders on a boat. And it was a great time. It was fucking amazing.
There we go.
So, like, I think that's really important too when you're thinking about, promoters and how to build your brand. Is his number one thing is, how am I going to have fun? What do I want to do? And it's really cool to see him working on that and reaching out to a new audience.
Yeah, like shout out to him. You wouldn't have expected, given the cards Don't Flop have been doing over the last couple of years, so you wouldn't expect him to kind of like be pulling out big ones and just like, he's been really coasting, and then he comes out with like maybe one of the biggest cards of the year, arguably the biggest card of the year in the UK.
The anniversary card is phenomenal. I mean, that's just crazy, and we're going to get into that as it nears, because that's, I think, October, November, or something like that.
November.
There's something else I want to say he had going. Shit, I don't remember. I was going to say.
But yeah, he's been really killing it. So fair play to him. And he's got that. He's got a couple of other cards coming up. It's just really good to see. Like, I'm obviously he's got the one rounders and that, but yeah, it's really good.
Bringing that vibe back.
How's it?
Damn, there was something else I wanted to say, and I fucking slipped my mind. But yeah, flowers for real. The UK battle rap scene, it really feels like, I don't know if we're in that heyday now, but it feels a lot healthier, and maybe that's because of the competition too. The same thing in the States.
That's it. Like, I think it's what we were saying earlier about how yours never really had a competition. Now here comes RBE, and now they're kind of pushed to be a lot better. That was the exact same Don't Flop. Don't Flop obviously took that time out, which allowed for leagues like Premier, allowed for these other chat to come in and just like really capitalize on that. And now Don't Flop are kind of like pushing themselves to kind of like not remain relevant, but to kind of like stand out, and they really are doing it.
Right. Yeah. Push it to a new audience, not needing the huge big budget cards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful time. Organic was saying this on Twitter. That it's amazing to see everybody coming together for battle rap culture. And that's really what it is.
And when you consider that the UKBR scene nearly died like 3 years ago during COVID, like obviously there was anarchy in that, but events were kind of like obviously there was the whole stuff with Tay-Rock and that, which kind of like killed a lot of momentum. But obviously COVID, there were a lot of events that couldn't happen, and a lot of money was wasted because of that, and because they were making these festivals that they couldn't get back on internationals.
Right.
And then, there was a time like, when they were like, okay, is the scene dead? And just kind of like to see how it is 2-3 years later. It's arguably the best it's ever been. And that's really good to see it. And it's really surprising.
Yeah, it's huge potential here. Just really good news all around. I think that's our fucking show for the day. Like, that's the UK. It's wrapped up. But man, next week it doesn't stop. What do we got? Next week, watch The Throne from Shots Fired in San Diego. Check them out. It's a great league out of San Diego. Some good talent. Sam. Do you know those guys? You know those guys?
Oh yeah, Shots Fired. Oh yeah, Shots Fired, of course. Yeah, the California League.
Yeah, you know what's up. Sab versus K-Phil and Soto versus Griffin, and like a bunch of cool people on that card. Really excited for that. Nastyalgia is happening next weekend. Z's League.
The Holloman versus Hadas, isn't it?
Exactly. In Philly, the Riot is doing the Good, Bad, and the Family, which I think is Geechee versus.
That's Came Bear and Gifts Family Affair. Geechee versus Coffee.
Oh, okay. And then a couple Canadian events. They're going to do Wild Game in Edmonton. That's a new big card from Fraserburg, which is the new league out there. Headlined by Johnny Knox and Mike Wild, who both had battles drop recently. Go check them out.
Set the Bar.
And then Set the Bars doesn't have anything next weekend, but it's Bars of Death is doing their first big event. I'm sure they've had other events before, but they're mostly an online league, and they just started doing live events in Niagara, which is in Ontario.
Okay.
And it's Death Toll. It's Jo versus Machete Trevi, Glock Party.
Yeah.
And a bunch of cool ones. Final Word versus CJA. There's a bunch of cool shit on that card too, so check them out.
Yeah.
And as always, shouts out to Verse Tracker's events calendar. That's where you catch all that shit. Verse Tracker, back in business.
Yeah.
The URL is on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's been fucking beautiful, man. I really appreciate you jumping on today and keeping me company. This has been really great.
Appreciate you for inviting me on. I'd love to come back.
Yeah, man. If you don't know, Crumpet is fucking absolute boss. Go check out his battles. He battled some Canadian at some point. I'll link it in the description.
I think I beat him, man.
Yeah, I think you beat him too. Some no name. But that's a really good battle. Check that out. And that's all for this week. Remember to follow us on Twitter or X. I'm going to do that every time until they change the name officially. Instagram, YouTube, and click the like and subscribe button and leave a comment. Did I say some stupid shit? Did Crumpet get something wrong? He didn't. Just let us know how we're doing. You click these buttons and it helps us with the algorithms and all that good stuff. And we will be back next Sunday to hear from you and talk about other shit. I think next Sunday we're going to do Africa and Australia. There's a bunch of shit happening there. Yeah. You know all about it. You can come on anytime, bro.
Anytime.
I fucking love you. That's all for this week. And we will be back on Sunday. This is where Path would go. I do it as good as him. Path, your job is in danger.